What's happening, YouTube? It's great to see you again in the 1+ Den of M. We are on episode 5 of Hawkeye, and it's crazy to think that we're already at episode 5 because it seems like just yesterday we had that crazy Battle of New York opening scene. This show has been such a fun ride from the get-go. Really excited about this. I've really been looking forward to this, and it's funny because when it was announced, it was definitely at the bottom of my list for shows that I was looking forward to, and it's quickly made its way to probably my top 3, so that's pretty exciting. Obviously, we've got a ton of questions after episode 4 from last week. I personally think that Eleanor is behind it all. When I went back and watched episode 4 the second time, my partner actually said, is Eleanor under Jack's spell? Does he have her hypnotized, something like that? And I said, I actually think it's the other way around. So I do think that we're going to see a little more of Eleanor Bishop, and I do think that she's involved a lot more than we think at this point. Our next question, comic book accurate costumes. Kate did say to the LARPers that she would get them the materials they needed to make their own costumes, and she asked for 2 additional costumes. We did see that in the diner she drew her little sketch of what she thought Hawkeye's costume should be based on his branding, I think it was. And she has now asked for the LARPers to help out. So I'm wondering if we're going to briefly see a comic book accurate costume for Hawkeye. Cameos. Are we going to get some cameos this episode? We had one last episode, and it was crazy. Everybody flipped out. I want to see that character get some more screen time, of course. But rumor is that we're going to be seeing our MCU version of Wilson Fisk. So we have to wait and see if that happens. Who does this watch belong to? I really want to know who the owner of the Rolex is. It's somebody who's been to the Avengers compound for sure. That being said, it's not necessarily somebody who's been to the Avengers compound on screen, and they do have a secret or a hidden identity, which rules out several characters. So we'll have to wait and see who that watch belongs to. And then I've seen a ton of theories online suggesting that Laura is actually Mockingbird. And for those of you who don't know, Mockingbird was actually, she was a character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it would be changing the character's origin. It would be kind of erasing that any canon that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had established, we'll say, even though I think that's kind of still up in the air. But we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, I'm so excited for this. I don't want it to be the finale already, but I want more. I don't want it to stop. So I'm really excited to jump right into this episode. That's enough out of me. Let's get into it. Oh.
The counteragent to chemical subjugation.
Oh!
Stop! I'm trying to help you! Hey, hit her with the antidote! Hey,
Look what you did to my rug. What, you thought I was some rich pervert's prisoner?
How can you afford all of this?
Killing for money.
Oh! Oh my god. I can't even. Oh my god. Yes. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Wow.
Kate Bishop.
Yee!
Hi! I made macaroni if you want some. You're probably thinking, what? This is crazy. I'm going to have dinner with the enemy.
Yeah.
So I'm loving Yelena's new hair. I am loving her coat jacket thing, and I've missed her. Oh my god, I've missed her. She's hilarious.
It's my first time in New York. You kill me again. Okay, Bishop, you are so funny. It's hilarious. That one is the funniest.
Almost forgot. Missy dropped off the new outfits for you and Kate.
Yeah. It's Clint. Okay. Goodbye, everybody else. I'm not entirely comfortable with how close to the end we are. Especially with this episode. Did Eleanor hire Yelena? No. It was Countess Val. No, my God! No! Oh, come on. No post-credit scene? I gotta watch this again.
Worried about this whole time. Kingpin.
Okay. Okay, so we've got an official name drop and image of the one and only Kingpin. When they said that they were gonna, like, CGI him out and everything, I was kind of worried, but he looks intimidating and he looks large like he's supposed to. We'll have to wait to see him in person, obviously, but we were right about Eleanor Bishop. So she's definitely got some more stuff going on behind the scenes. I think she knew about Jack the whole time, to be perfectly honest. I don't think she actually hired Yelena, though, because we saw Yelena wasn't necessarily that she was hired. It was that Countess Val sent her after Clint. So we'll have to wait and see kind of how that plays out, because it didn't seem like, especially at first, it didn't seem like Yelena had been hired by somebody. That being said, we did get that kind of scene at the beginning, and that was so awesome with the blip. That was so cool how they did that. But we got that scene at the beginning that suggested that they were mercenaries, or they were killing for money. So it makes sense that she wants these things out of life. She did mention in Black Widow. So she mentioned in Black Widow that the first piece of clothing that she had bought for herself. So Yelena's probably wanting to feel a sense of independence at this point in time, and seeing how another widow was able to turn her skills into something profitable, it would make sense that Yelena would then go out and be kind of an assassin for hire. So that does totally make sense. One thing I wanted to point out was it's interesting that we got Kingpin in this episode, because Kingpin, as you may know, is from the Netflix Daredevil series, which is very well known for its hallway fight scene. And at the beginning of this episode, we actually got almost our own version of a hallway fight scene. There was definitely a hallway. We had Yelena. We had the two other Black Widows as well. So what I really liked about this episode was the beginning, especially the beginning. We found out that Yelena had continued her work to help free the other widows, kind of continuing that storyline from the Black Widow film, which I really like, because it's clearly that wasn't just a one-off, that had more implications, and it really got the ball rolling. Now, the blip. I cannot even with that. That was so awesome. So well done. It was really beautiful to see kind of how that room changed around her within that 5-year span. Obviously, for her, it was 5 seconds, and for the rest of the world, it was 5 years. Loved it. I did think we were going to get an Echo versus Yelena rematch in this episode, which we didn't, but we did find out a lot more about the characters. We know that Echo is now looking for an informant who could be her accomplice there. I can't think of his name. I just know him as Clown. So one of the questions that I did have about Echo's character was how she was going to continue on and carry her own series. She's probably going to be hunting the informant. So I don't think that's the end of the Tracksuit Mafia. I don't think that's the end of this Clown character. I think that they're going to continue on. More hints to suggest that Laura knows a lot more, that she's a lot more involved than previously thought. Very possible that she is Mockingbird. I'm really liking that theory. We'll have to wait and see, though, because, like I said, that would erase canon from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think a lot of people would be really disappointed about that, because there was, and I can't for the life of me think of her name. I can see it in my head, but I can't say it out loud because it's on the tip of my tongue. But Adriana Palicki, I believe, played Mockingbird. Now, she was actually also up for the role of Wonder Woman, I believe, prior to that. So she's no stranger to the superhero genre. And it'd be interesting to see if they brought in her as an actress to play perhaps a different character in the MCU, now that Laura appears to be Mockingbird. So we will have to wait and see. I don't think there's been any episode 6 footage as of right now. I don't think that any of the scenes we saw in this episode were included in the original, or I think there was a second trailer. or that little snippet that we saw with Disney Plus Day. So I don't think we've seen anything, from episode 5, but also I don't think we've seen much, if anything, from episode 6. Obviously, tomorrow we have a really big release. We've got Spider-Man No Way Home, which I'm super excited for. Now, I want to touch on that because I think it's important to recognize that Marvel has had a history of editing their trailers. So I wonder if the scene where we saw Kate and Clint on an ice rink, which appears to be from episode 6 of Hawkeye, if there is some CGI involved, perhaps we will actually see them standing there in their comic book accurate costumes instead of just seeing them back to back in their, combat leathers, we'll call them. I think we're going to have multiple encounters between Kate and Yelena throughout the MCU as it continues. Apparently, Florence Pugh had alluded to the Dark Avengers versus the Thunderbolt. I think that's interesting because I think Thunderbolts would make for a better title for a film or a TV show than the Dark Avengers. That being said, it really depends on who the lineup is, and it depends kind of how that story continues. If it's just a one-off, so it's more or less a competition with Suicide Squad, not so keen on that idea. But if they are going to kind of add to the overall narrative, then I do hope that they bring these characters in for either a Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers series or movie. I think that'd be really good. Finally, I have to look up Sloan. Sloan Limited. I don't know if that's a company that I'm familiar with. I really don't think it is. But if you know who Sloan Limited is, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm curious to see if there's any more involvement with Jack. Now, I still do think he's under some kind of brainwashing or mind control. And the reason that actually it's interesting, because we did see Yelena use that antidote to remove somebody from mind control. And I think that's foreshadowing that antidote is going to be used on Jack a little later, maybe next episode, to kind of free him from whatever spell he's under, because it seems like he is a little, just there's something off about him. I'm not 100% sure. And then that tie-in with Eleanor Bishop, of course, makes things all the more suspicious. This episode, I think I liked episode 4 a little better, but I did like the beginning of this episode so far, I think the most out of the series, with the exception of that New York opening battle. I'm loving this. I'm loving this, and I really hope you are too, because I look forward to doing this every week. I look forward to watching this every week and kind of picking it apart piece by piece. So if you've got any fan theories or there's anything that you think is going to happen in the next episode, we've only got one left, so be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. On your way there, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, because like I said, I'm going to be doing this fairly regularly. I really look forward to this. We've got She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, tons of stuff coming, and I will be seeing No Way Home tomorrow. Very excited for that. One thing that I do ask is, if you are going to see Spider-Man tomorrow, or you have seen this movie, just try and be mindful of what you're posting on the internet. Sometimes a harmless question can be a spoiler for others, so try and be careful. Make sure that we're not ruining the magic or the experience for anybody else. We are all fans, and we're all in this together. Thank you all so much for joining me in the 1+ Den of M. Bye.